Hello, my name is Paco Rivera, and this is the Maximum Sentence channel, where we discuss recent crimes and convictions. You can also follow me on Facebook for updates and more. There will be a link to my Facebook in the description below. Here we have another case of domestic violence and resulted in a death. Valerian Osteen and Marissa Grimes met at a party on New Year's Day of the year 2022. They apparently hit it off well, and Marissa later reached out to Osteen to buy some marijuana from him. Over the next 9 days, Marissa and Osteen spent a lot of time together. She often visited Osteen at his home on Locke Avenue in Fort Worth, Texas. They drove around, hung out, went on several dates, and they began a relationship. Just 9 days after they met, however, they were together at his home when Marissa received a friendly text from an ex-boyfriend. Osteen became aware of the message she had received and he snapped. He became furious, and Marissa now saw a very different, violent side to Osteen. Rather than engage Osteen, Marissa tried to leave his house, but he blocked her path and refused to let her leave. That is now kidnapping, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, Grimes held Marissa in his home against her will for several days until she finally managed to find a way to text her father that she was in trouble. The man won't let her leave the house and that she needed help to escape. The father notified police. They responded and arrested Valerian Osteen and charged him with domestic violence. That was the charge. And he was locked up in jail. Apparently, while he was in jail, he was so furious about getting locked up, blaming it all on Marissa Grimes, that he began making threats to harm Marissa when he gets out. While Osteen was sitting in jail, Marissa's father and others in the family, after learning about the threats, then made plans to have Marissa move to Midland, Odessa, Texas, where they had other family members and she can stay with them for a while, maybe forever, or at least until this problem with Osteen all blows over. Well, Valerian Osteen was able to post bail, and he was released pending a court hearing for the domestic violence charge. I don't understand why he wasn't also charged with kidnapping. Anyway, a GPS ankle monitor was placed on him and he was ordered to stay away from Marissa Grimes. But that didn't stop him. Osteen made contact with Marissa anyway, and he was apologetic, and he poured on the charm. But he had a plan because he was still furious about being locked up and he was furious about having to wear an ankle monitor. Osteen had even told some people that he was going to kill Marissa. Like so many other women in these type of situations, unfortunately, Marissa fell for Osteen's smooth talking her back into his life. And Marissa and Osteen began talking on the phone, texting, and seeing each other again. But Marissa had already made her plans to move to Odessa, and a U-Haul truck was rented to load her things. And by February 12th of the year 2022, Marissa told her dad that she was going to go pick up one of her children at a friend's house and then head to Odessa. What the father did not know was that Marissa decided that she would stop by the home of Valerian Osteen to say goodbye. Marissa and Valerian spoke for a while at his home, and then they walked next door to visit Osteen's neighbors. Osteen, by that point, had become furious with Marissa again for some reason, and that neighbor would later inform authorities that Valerian Osteen had threatened Marissa with a gun. That neighbor, other than Osteen, was the last person to see Marissa Grimes alive. At some point, the family realized that Marissa never picked up her son, and she's nowhere to be found. The search began, and investigators were notified. Over the following days, Valerian Osteen and others were questioned, but there were no solid leads into Marissa's disappearance. Then, on February 21st, 9 days after Marissa went missing, the U-Haul moving truck she was driving was found abandoned, just 1 mile from Osteen's house. Authorities obtained a search warrant for his property, and on the following day, on February 22nd, 10 days after she went missing, Marissa's decomposing body was found wrapped in a blanket and tarp in the crawl space under the house. Osteen had dug a shallow grave and then just went on living above her body for 10 days. According to the medical examiner, Marissa was beaten to death and tortured. She had multiple lacerations to her head, 2 black eyes, and a broken arm, ribs, and nose. On September 11 of this year, Valerian Osteen was found guilty of capital murder, and 11 days later, on September 22nd, a jury sentenced him to death. I'm not sure why Marissa's death date was set at February 23rd. I do know that when someone is reported missing and the body was found much later, even though the murder might have happened weeks earlier, the death date is listed most often with the date that the body was found. In this case, every report I've seen shows her body found on February 22nd, but the date of death is for the next day. This is from Marissa's obituary. Marissa Grimes of Fort Worth, Texas, passed away on February 23, 2022 at the age of 26. She was born on March 21, 1995, the daughter of Daryl Grimes and Rita Montana. Marissa was a beloved and devoted daughter, granddaughter, sister, mother, and friend. Marissa was creative, decorating everything from her car to her room to her phone. She loved to drive her car while singing to her favorite music. She was a loving and compassionate person who often cried at sad movies. She loved photography, constantly taking pictures of everything. One of her biggest ambitions was to someday live amongst the busy streets of New York. Marissa had a generous, kind heart. She aspired to help people even when she had no way to help them. She loved her parents and grandparents, visiting them often. She always made it a point to say, "I love you." Most of all, she loved and adored her children. They were her world, and she wanted nothing more for them than to have a wonderful life. There was no love greater than what she felt for her boys. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button for more of these true crime stories so that you're alerted when the next one comes out. You can also follow me on Facebook for updates. There will be a link to my Facebook in the description below. My name is Paco Rivera. Thank you for watching. Take care and bye for now.